Oh, if you could all okay the recording, that'd be great. Welcome. Oh, thank you, Christina. Welcome to the MicroBook Magic author showcase. We're just finished season 3. I am super excited about the books coming out, and I really want to thank you all for coming and writing microbooks with me. And I really want to thank everybody who is now watching this showcase, either live or on a recording. I'm going to be letting people in as they arrive. So I'll make sure that nobody kind of comes in talking to kind of put you off if you're doing your talk. That is no problem, Hannah. And thank you. Yeah, congratulations, everyone. I know not everyone has finished yet, but you're all, a long way towards writing your microbook, which is absolutely amazing. So for people who are watching the recording or who have not been writing microbooks with me, I am Vicky Fraser, and I am the creator of MicroBook Magic, and I am extremely proud to present my season 3 MicroBook Magic authors, many of whom are here today. I am going to talk a little bit about MicroBook Magic at the end, but for now, suffice to say, it's a 4-week workshop for you to get your microbook written and ready to publish. Ideally, I would love it if everybody was kind of done and dusted by the end of the 4 weeks, but everybody works at their own pace. And so what I aim to do is give people all of the tools that they need to write their microbook. Today, I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to read from their book and really showcase what they've been doing and, show off basically, because, we're told that showing off is a bad thing. It's like when we're kids, don't show off. Why? Why are we not supposed to show off? I've always wondered that. So so today is the day, and every day, but starting today, we get to show off about the books that we have written. So without further ado, I'm going to call on people one by one, and we are going to start with Kim Krause Schwalm. Please unmute yourself. I'm going to spotlight you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can. Thank you. So Kim is one of the best copywriters in the world. Her controls, her work consistently beats out many other people, particularly the copywriting bros of the world, which I just think is marvelous. And Kim has been writing a wonderful little microbook that I'm going to let her tell you all about now. So Kim, please tell us a little bit about yourself, the book that you're writing, and then you can read from it.
Sure. I've been a freelance copywriter for 25 years as of this month. And so I've learned a few things along the way about dealing with clients. I've probably made all the mistakes myself and learned from them. And over the last 5 years or so, I've been mentoring and coaching other copywriters. I also have a popular e-letter called Copy Insiders. And so I've written a lot about the topics of mindset and dealing with clients and not putting up with bad behavior and negotiating higher paying deals, etc. And I've actually taken a lot of those writings and then added a lot of new stuff into my new microbook, which I'm hoping to launch within the next month or 2. And it's just been a real pleasure to work with Vicky and everybody in the group and get their valuable input.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah, this book is going to be so useful. I know that you kind of aimed it at copywriters, but it's going to be so useful for anybody who is any kind of a freelancer or any kind of a business owner, really. So, would you like to begin?
I will. I'm going to read a passage about setting boundaries. And here it starts. Freelance copywriting often seems more challenging than ever these days. Between the gazillions of copywriters you're competing with and the advent of ChatGPT and more sophisticated AI tools coming out each day, it may seem like it's harder than ever to launch and maintain a successful freelance career. But the truth is, there's still plenty of opportunity to succeed as a copywriter. You just need to zero in on the right things. Being great at writing copy is essential to going far in this freelance copywriting biz, for sure. But do you know what's even more important? The right mindset. Now, how can mindset be even more important than being great at writing copy? Because I've personally witnessed great copywriters who sucked when it came to standing up for themselves, asking to be compensated the way they deserved, and tolerating bad client behavior when they had so many other options. Meanwhile, I've seen others who weren't as good at actually writing copy sail right by them because they had the confidence or chutzpah to cut higher paying deals, for example. So where does one get this confidence, I'm so often asked? It comes from mastering this #1 skill for handling clients like a boss: setting boundaries. Setting boundaries can save you a heap of trouble when it comes to dealing with clients. I'm talking about things like not jumping when the client says jump. For example, feeling like you have to say yes to everything, including unreasonable requests, which then leads to even more unreasonable requests. Taking the quote you're about to give a client and then increasing it by 50% or doubling it or even more, and then putting it out there, even though you're terrified to do so. Shutting down bad client behavior the first time it rears its ugly head, and still being able to have a good and profitable long-term working relationship, assuming you want to. Spelling out deliverables clearly and fending off scope creep at the onset by never giving anything away for free. Always getting paid in advance, usually 50% upfront before doing a lick of work, even with clients you've worked with before, because priorities can change and you don't want to be the one left holding the bag. And countless more client management tactics that help you run your freelance biz more smoothly. Do these things and an amazing thing starts to happen. You start to develop greater confidence. This confidence grows from staying true to what you need to get out of the client relationship. It grows from valuing and respecting yourself enough to speak up or push back when needed. And it grows from how clients start to treat you once you begin setting boundaries and valuing yourself. That's because when you stand up for yourself in a professional and confident way, clients respect you more right from the get-go, and they're much less likely to try any of that stupid stuff or make unreasonable requests as a result. So you can more easily negotiate higher pay, better terms, and avoid client BS. Bonus, being able to set boundaries and knowing what works for you and what doesn't, and being confident enough to ask for what you want will help you in other areas of your life as well. Let's talk about that a little bit more, because it's often the most difficult skill for many of us to master. Perhaps standing up for yourself and calling out bad behavior feels wrong for you, or maybe you weren't allowed to do that for yourself when you were young, or for various reasons developed people-pleasing tendencies like so many of us. We've all run into situations with a client or someone else who does something that's out of line, and you're going to hear plenty more stories from my own awkward moments I've encountered throughout my career and how I handle them. But here's the thing. When this kind of bad behavior happens, you have to call it out, especially when it's within a client relationship or in the workplace. And the sooner you do so, the better, because otherwise that jerk will feel like they can walk all over you, and they'll do it again and again and again. That's why it's crucial to develop and enforce a zero jerk tolerance policy when it comes to your freelancing, business, or other professional life. That's all I got today, but there's lots more.
Thank you so much, Kim. That's such good advice. And I should say as well that I've learned so much from Kim over the years, because you have been running, your business for so many years now, and you've learned so much. Love the zero jerk tolerance policy. So Sarah Roper says, oh, there you go. I was meant to be on this call and listen to this. I needed this right now. Thank you. Sorry, come off. I'm driving. No problem. It's lovely to have you here, Sarah. Christina says that is amazing advice. Thank you. It is indeed. And I'm really excited about what people are going to get from the rest of the book as well. So speaking of the rest of the book, have you got somewhere for people to go? Where can people get the book from? Where can they follow you, find out all about you, and where can they get on your email list?
Well, the best thing to do is go to my website, kimschwalm.com, which I can put in the chat.
Yes, please.
Or it might be easier to remember, copyinsiders.com. That's how you can opt into my email list. So either way, you'll be able to get on my list, get my ultimate freelance copywriters. I'm actually messing up the title. It's the ultimate A-list copywriters promo checklist. It's actually 5 checklists in one. So you'll get that as a gift when you sign up.
Amazing, thank you. And just going to literally put everybody on the spot now. When can we expect your book to be available? I'm not going to expect everybody to have an exact date, but I do like to just give people a little bit of a nudge, because it gives you something to work towards. So
I would love to have it out by sometime in June, but maybe sooner. It kind of depends on how things go.
Perfect. That sounds amazing. Thank you so much, Kim. If anyone has any questions or comments for any of the authors during this, please pop them in the chat box, because we can come to them at the end.
I have one quick thing to add. So I have offered this as an ebook, which was just basically a compilation of past emails I've written and issues about this topic. But this is an actual physical book that I'm coming out with, and I've revamped and revised and better organized things and added new content. So for those people who may have seen that other ebook, And if you have that ebook, you're going to get a free copy of this as a thank you. But yeah, I just, one of the reasons I was inspired to do this is, and to make it the best possible book it could be, is even my ebook has gotten so many great, responses. And I had someone write me just 2 months ago who, she got like halfway through the book and she wrote me, it's like, this is just what I needed. I'm going to totally redo my ongoing contract with the client. And it just made her feel empowered and confident. And, she was able to do some really great things to improve her situation. I'm like, if I can just impact people like that, that is exactly what I want to do with this book.
Perfect. Thank you. And I know it will as well. Is because it's just, sometimes we just need to hear that stuff. Like, we just need to hear it is like, actually, we don't need to tolerate jerks.
Exactly.
Because we're taught that we kind of do, be polite, be quiet, all the rest of it. So
yeah, especially as women, but I mean, men fall into the trap too.
They do.
Sure.
It's true.
So.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure.
If anyone has any questions for Kim, please pop them in the chat box and we will get to them at the end. So, awesome. I am very much looking forward to that book coming out. I'm going to keep nudging people. So, thinking who would like to go next. I think I'm going to choose the next person on my screen, who is Sarah Milne.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, I'm judging by the cheerleading going on from Christina. I'm guessing that Christina knows you.
Thank you for being here, Christina.
So, Sarah, I'm so chuffed that you're here. I'm really excited about your book. So, Sarah, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the book you're writing?
Yes, I'm Sarah, and I am an odd bag of bits and pieces that I have finally learned how to put together. I've had lots of false starts in life. I've had the main thing is having a child that was born with all sorts of medical complications, and so I literally had to keep on finding new ways to keep the roof over our heads and new ways to earn money. And as this book is about reinventing myself, so this book is called More Times Than Madonna: Learning the Mosaic Art of Reinventing Yourself. And it's my story. It's my story of how I learned this through lots and lots of challenges. And I'm going to read for you a little bit of the introduction so that you can hear a little bit about what the book is about. Invent yourself, then reinvent yourself, and stay out of the clutches of mediocrity. Invent yourself and reinvent yourself. Madonna. I spent half a lifetime watching the lives of others around me, believing everyone else was following an ordered path, developing in careers, blooming in relationships, generally growing and expanding, while I was hitting dead end after full start after dead end. Every time I picked up some momentum in life, the rug would be pulled from under my feet and it would all come crashing down. I would say, it's okay. My life is like a mosaic, as I picked up the best bits and moved on. But I felt like a rag bag of random skills, talents, and experiences, odds and ends, leftovers, broken pieces that never seemed to belong together in any meaningful way. It's another of Mum's phases. It never lasts. You have reinvented yourself more times than Madonna. I spent half a lifetime feeling judged, belittled, left behind, and good for nothing, until the penny dropped. More times than Madonna. People were comparing me to an icon, a feminist crusader, the queen of transformation. Was it really an insult? If reinvention is known as Madonna's superpower, and I have done it more times, then it's my superpower too. So I reinvented myself as a mistress of its art. A life of reinvention means a life of endless new beginnings. For me, it's an essential coping strategy, the only way I know to survive and thrive in a chaotic, unpredictable life. When the rug is pulled and everything crashes down, we have a choice. We can sit in the debris, or we can rise like a phoenix from the broken shards, picking up the best fragments and putting them back together in a new way, in our own golden kintsugi mosaic of life. This is my reinvention story. It's a warts, broken pieces and all kind of story. And you should be forewarned that some of these slivers are sharp. Some of the stories I have to tell may upset you. They upset me. But it is my hope that through sharing them, I will be able to show how to stand up and reinvent yourself out of your own darkest moments. I have found my brightest mosaic treasures hidden in the murkiest shadows. So if you want to read on, take my hand. Let's do this together. Let's reinvent ourselves and build the brightest, most wonderful mosaic of whatever we want life to be.
I feel like I need a round of applause noise. Thank you so much, Sarah. I love the premise behind this book because that just sounds so familiar to me. Obviously I've had a different life from you, but the idea of just reinventing all the time. And I think a lot of people will identify with that, especially business owners, because we tend to have a lot of stuff going on all the time. So, but yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I'm really excited about this book. So when can we expect to find out a bit more about it?
Well, I have put myself in Hastings. We've got a book fair on the 28th of May. So I'm hoping to have maybe something at least by the 28th of May, even if it's just a little kind of excerpt. So that's my target.
I don't see why that shouldn't happen. That's 6 weeks or so away, which is, yeah, you got time.
Yeah.
Your book's in really good shape. So thank you. How have you found writing? Like, how did you come up with that idea?
It literally was because I recently had another situation where something that I thought was more solid just collapsed again. And I had another kind of another time when the rug was pulled on my feet, and I said it to myself more times than Madonna. And also I work at the moment as a creative therapist, and I just kind of realized that finally I'd learned a way of picking all the pieces together, because in creative therapy I've been a psychologist, been a writer, artist, all these different things are finally coming together, but I had to sit down and think, what else do I need? So there's some pieces that I kind of thought, okay, they're missing. So I am training to be a counsellor as well at the minute, so I can bring that into being able to work in NHS and the things that I do. So it was just this kind of look, rather than let's reinvent myself again, let's look at all the pieces I've got this time and realize that actually, although I feel like it's rag bag of bits of randomness, I'm actually not. There's actually lots of pieces that will fit together, and perhaps there was a couple of pieces that I needed to pick up and find. And so that made me think, you know what, let's write this book.
Amazing. And what are you hoping, because I love that, and I think it's a fab idea. So what are you hoping that the book will do for people?
Hoping it will just show people that, I mean, the thing is, we all think that everybody else's life is going in this kind of real sort of linear way, and actually we as human beings, we can only understand the world by through telling stories. And that's why we have all these stories about mythology and such, because they were created by our ancestors to make sense of human characteristics and archetypes. So we make stories about everybody else, and they're making stories about us and thinking our life is straightforward. So I just wanted people to be able to realize, if they feel like they're carrying this bag of odds and ends, that actually you can put it all together in a way. And also just this way that we can reinvent ourselves, that it's never too late to be something else. I'm going back to art school as well, because I don't have enough time doing my own art. I'm going back to art school, I'm going to counselling school, I'm doing these things, I'm reinventing myself again, but it's not too late. It's not too late. You can be whatever you want to be at any time. You can just say, oh, I want to be this. And we should do it, because we only get one life, so why not have
it full? Yeah, I love that. I love the message that it's not too late. I feel very strongly that we can do stuff whenever the hell we want. So thank you so much, Sarah. Where can people find out more about you, and where will they be able to get your book when it's available?
I'll be on Instagram, and I am Sarah Milne, but I'm Sarah_E_Milne on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook, so you can find me there. I've got Sarah Milne author page on Facebook, which I need to do some work with. But so Instagram, Facebook, and yeah, there will be some special offers for pre-sales as well.
Fab. Lovely.
Sheets and things.
Oh, I love that idea. Colouring worksheets, I think that's so cool. Okay, very excited about that. Could you pop your links? Because I know Kim's put her link in her URL. If you could pop your links into the chat box, that would be amazing. Just having a quick look. Kim says those sharp shards, lots of great analogies. Yes. Hannah says, yay, art school. And Ade says, yes, this one life is very short. Yes, it is. Considering how many bloody books there are that I want to read, I just don't have time. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing. I'm really excited about your book coming out, and I can't wait to share it with everyone. So I'm gonna take you off the spotlight, and I am going to invite Ade to come forward.
Hi,
Hello, how are you doing?
Ade was not expecting that, but that's okay. It's all good. We're embracing Sarah's ethos of trialing new things and making. I'm gonna seize my what is my 3 minutes of being brave. So I'm just gonna go for it.
Amazing. Okay, so I am going to ask you to just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, why you're writing this book, and then I would love to hear you read an excerpt from your book, please.
Okay, so my name is Adefunke Larigo. I am the only one on LinkedIn that I have seen so far. In fact, in most socials, I'll say I'm the only one. But anyway, so I am by in terms of my profession, I'm a social worker. I've worked with foster carers and adopters, and worked with young people who have been in the care system. And this experience has led me to just want to do something different. I've also experienced some traumatic events in my life as a young child, which I realize now that that's why I'm really on this path in terms of my career. And I'm very keen to give a voice to vulnerable children, and to just make sure that those who are looking after them are doing the very best thing that they can do to make sure they have a better outcome. So that's what led me to write this book. One of the other things that I do is that as a social worker, I also get to sit on what you call a panel, which is basically a group of people. Just bear with me. I thought my email was off. Let me just turn that off because it's really annoying. I get to work with adoption and fostering panels, and so when somebody applies to become a foster carer or they want to adopt a child, they have to go through assessment, and part of that process, they get to sit in front of what's called a panel, which is a group of people, members of the community and professional people, who would ask them questions about their life, about the report that they've read about them. But I noticed that panel group is not very diverse. It's mostly white middle class. And I wanted to change that. So I started a company in 2020 to help adoption and foster panels to reach people from diverse communities. So that's why I'm writing this book, because I realize they need additional tools to help them on their journey of bringing on that diversity. So it's one thing me helping them to connect with people from diverse community, but actually that's not enough really. I need to help them make a mindset shift. I can never say that word. But anyway.
You said it perfectly.
Okay. It sounds weird to me. So that's why I've written this book. So I'm going to read you a little piece. My book, to be fair, is not as put together as other people's. It's still in the making, but I've started a few chapters, which I've still got to work out how I'm going to put them all together. But I will read you a little piece of something that is significant to me on my journey as being a member of panel.
Perfect.
So, okay, so I'm going to start here. So majority of agencies don't seem to be too concerned that panels are not diverse. Most of the time when I tried to have a conversation with them, I just felt fobbed off. And when I tried to explain why they're not reaching out to more people from diverse communities, I simply get the response, we don't have many people who live locally who are from diverse community. After some time, I started to feel disillusioned because I felt I was not making any difference. I remember the story of the applicant who described Black people as colored during the panel interview, and yet they applied to become a foster carer. I didn't actually hear the applicant say the word colored, but my colleagues did, and none of them challenged it during the interview session. But as soon as the applicant left the room, my colleagues all looked at me and started to express concern. And somebody said to me, "Did you hear the person say colored?" I felt completely disappointed and let down by my colleagues, as none of them stood up and challenged the person while they were in the room. I was the only non-white person in that room, and yet no one said anything to them. This hurt a lot. When we later discussed it, the agency lead and the panel chairperson felt that they'd managed the situation adequately because they agreed to speak with the applicants on a later date and ensure that they got some training. That day after panel, I approached the agency lead and expressed my disappointment and my anger. They responded to me by saying that this family are never going to be looking after non-white children, so there was no real need for them to really be trying to educate them during that process. I tried to raise the issue outside the panel discussion, but I felt the agency lead shut down my complaint. They refused to enter into further discussion outside of the panel meeting. They refused to enter further discussions with me outside of the panel meeting. I'm going to leave it there. That's it. Well, there's more, but I'm not going to say any more on it for now.
Thank you, Ade. That's just gives us such a good idea of why the book that you're writing is so important, because, you know, like you've shown there with that story, people don't even know that there is a problem, and I think that's what's going to make your book so powerful, is it's going to, like you say, make that mindset shift for people. So thank you so much. So I know that I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, and I know that you're not going to have an answer for me right now, but I'm going to ask you anyway. When do you think you might be putting this book out there? Because it is really important.
I'll tell you this, I am aiming to complete the first draft by end of April. That's my aim. So as for putting it out there, I can't answer that bit because I don't know, but I'm going to aim for the completion of the first draft by end of the month.
First draft by the end of the month. I love that. That's so doable because you've got such a good backbone for it already. You've got such a good structure, and your idea is so sound. So I'm really excited about that. We've got Kim says that's such a powerful story and shows your why. Sarah says, go Ade, great story to illustrate your point. It's going to be a fab book. It is. Christina says, very powerful and very important to get out there. Hannah says, so glad you're writing this, Ade. So thank you so much. I know you did an amazing job. I know you were very nervous. So because I also get very nervous when I'm public speaking. Thank you. If anyone has any questions for Ade, please pop them into the chat box. And Ade, where can people find out more about you, and where can we keep in touch with you outside of this?
So I am on LinkedIn. I try to show up every day on LinkedIn, most days anyway. Even if I'm not posting something, I'm commenting on other people's stuff. So I hang out there. I'm also on Instagram. I'm not a big fan. I am a big fan. I don't really use Instagram that often, but I am there every now and again. But on LinkedIn, you can definitely find me.
Amazing. If you could pop your LinkedIn URL in the chat box after this, that would be amazing. Ade really does show up every day on LinkedIn, and your posts are they're inspirational. They're amazing. I really enjoy reading, even though I'm like very far from your target audience. I don't live in that world at all, but I love reading what you have to say. So yeah, apart from anything else, even if you're not in Ade's target readership, you should totally follow her on LinkedIn, because she is a real inspiration, and kind of how to do really well on LinkedIn, basically, how to write great posts, how to engage with people. It's a real pleasure. So thank you, Ade. Thank you for joining us today. I'm really so excited about your book. It's going to be so important. We've got also Jackie says, well done. Hi, Jackie. We've got Jackie Raymond saying, well done, Ade. Sarah Roper, there's so many Sarahs today. Sarah Roper says, big well done. Thank you for writing and sharing this. And Dr. Nupi, hi, Dr. Nupi. My apologies, no worries. And Sarah M says, I'll have a look. I never use LinkedIn. I keep trying to tag you on LinkedIn, Sarah, and then you're not there. So yeah, get yourself on there and then I can tag you. Thank you, Ade. I'm going to remove the spotlight, and I am going to invite Sarah Silva to join us. I'm going to spotlight you. I'm going to welcome you. I love your necklace. Thank you so much for joining us today. Sarah, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do and why you're writing this book.
Hi, everyone. I'm another Sarah, Sarah Silva, and I'm a German into English translator specializing in chemical translations. But I also work with translators to help them shape their business in a way that gives them greater job satisfaction. And I basically wrote this book for them. So it's a book to myself a few years ago when I've been in business as a translator since 2008. And after a few years getting established, getting qualified and working with translation agencies, I started to get a little bit restless and want to take out the middleman or middlewoman and work directly with clients to develop that relationship, but really to structure my business in a way that works better for me, because as a freelancer, we want that freedom. And my book is themed around travel for a similar reason, because it gives you that freedom, like travel broadens your horizons. And as a translator, me and my colleagues love languages. We're obsessed with different cultures and traveling and experiencing all those different languages and cultures. So that's why I've kind of settled on that theme.
Amazing. And I'm really excited about your book because I love it. I love a bit of genre blending in books. And when we get to Ailene's book later, you'll see what I mean by that. But I love that you've kind of blended the travel writing with the how-to business, and I just think it's going to be such a great book. So yeah, are you ready to read a bit?
I am. Let me bring it up.
Okay.
So I've taken a bit from the introduction because that's the most finished of the book so far. My book is provisionally titled, the working title is Your Ticket to Explore, for that travel theme. To the average eye, it was a boring beige bundle of fabric and straps. To me, my new backpack was a thing of beauty. I propped it up against my wardrobe, visualizing it filled with specially selected clothes and my all-season sleeping bag. That rugged piece of kit was going to be my portable home with everything I needed for my big travel trip around the globe. It promised independence and flexibility, travel and adventure, and confidently assured me it would stick by me in all weathers, terrains, and whatever challenges lay ahead. And it represented the culmination of months of research. The destination kept changing. First, I was going solo and planned to teach English in Togo. Then a friend mentioned she fancied traveling too, so teaching got scrapped in favor of seeing more of the world. To finance the trip, I worked in a paper mill doing tests on pulp and helping with chemical trials. At night, I planned my trip, researching costs and figuring out if I'd need visas or vaccinations. Finally, the big day came. I'd done my research, but was it enough? Well, yes and no. So you can prepare as much as you like, but research only gets you so far. If you've never experienced a particular culture or climate, you can only base your preparation on other people's experiences and an educated guess. I couldn't ever imagine actively seeking out wild leopards without a guide in South Africa, cycling around central Tokyo while jet-lagged, or driving a questionable car along railway tracks near Mordor. But that's what happened. That was my experience. Fast forward a few years later in my translation business. After working with agencies and getting established, I grew restless. I wanted to grow my income and my free time. So I set about making changes in the same way I approached that big travel trip. Lots of research, learning from others, and taking a few tentative steps in different directions, all in an attempt to gain higher paying direct clients. But it was only when I started taking action and having conversations with potential clients that I got the experience I needed to move my translation business forward. If you're a planner like me, you might enjoy the anticipation and build-up and need to bring your exciting ideas to life, whether that's due to budget or other restrictions or a lack of knowledge about what lies ahead. Perhaps you can see the destination, but aren't sure how to pick a route or what stops you might need or want to make along the way. maybe you've stopped and started several times because something didn't feel right. You weren't quite ready, or maybe you still don't feel adequately prepared for the next stage of your business. This is why I've written this short book. First, to help you explore any obstacles that are getting in your way. And second, to transform your concerns and fears about marketing into the start of a voyage of discovery. In a few hours, you'll have earned your ticket to explore. You'll feel inspired to head off on mini business adventures that you can look back on with a sense of accomplishment, knowing that you now have what you need to move your business forward.
Thank you. I love the idea behind this book, is just like giving people that little nudge to just get started, and you know, making it less scary, because it's like, it's so scary thinking, oh, I've got to run this business, got to do all of the things. And yeah, I just love how you've taken that and really simplified it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I popped a thing in there as well, because so many of my books are written to my former selves, and I just think it's a really good place to start if anybody is kind of, you know, wondering about writing a book, and are thinking, you know, who am I to write a book? Because quite often that is what people say to me. It's like, well, think about where you were like a few years ago, and what book would you have liked to have read? Because quite often the book that we want isn't available. It just, I mean, there are books available that they just didn't speak to. I mean, there's loads of marketing books out there. There's none quite like the one that Sarah's writing. So yeah, this is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I like the idea as well of, like, a lot of the marketing books out there are teaching you strategies, and everyone has a slightly different route they need to take. Like, not one route fits everybody. So I much prefer to kind of help people with the first steps, and then they can confidently explore different, like, whatever takes their fancy from there. So that's the idea.
I love it. And it's that transformation again, and we've mentioned the word transformation a couple of times, and this is a really clear example of, like, just getting people that little shift so that they can kind of, yeah, that transformation is, I can do this myself. I've got some tools that I can look at, I've got some help, but I have the confidence now to go and find my way and find what works for me. And I think that's going to be incredibly valuable, because I think, like you said, there's a lot of stuff about strategies and tactics out there that don't work for everybody, and so empowering people to find what works for them, I think, is just very exciting. Yay. Okay, so we've got Sarah M says, I love it, can't wait to read it. Me too. Ade is also writing a book to her former self. Dr. Nupi says, gorgeous, it's made me feel really tingly. Nice. Christina says, awesome, that's always the hardest part, the first step. Yeah, getting started, man. It's like, yeah, momentum, it has to get going, but getting it going is so tough. Yeah. Ade says, I feel this book could be for me too, although I'm not in translating. Yeah, 100%. Kim says, I look forward to reading this. Yeah, and that's the thing about all of these books are going to be written with a very specific person in mind, but they're also going to be super useful for other people as well. So I'm very excited. Sarah, when? Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot now. When are you aiming to have this book out?
I wanted to be further along than I am now, but I'm not. So I'm going to say end of May. I'd like to have it pretty much sorted.
I think that is eminently doable. Awesome. And where can people find out more about you? I know you probably haven't got a book landing page yet, but where can people get, for example, on your email list or find you on social media? If you can let us know and then pop it in the chat box as well, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn, and I can put the handles in the chat. And translators, but anybody is welcome. I've got an email list. If you head to businesstranslated.com, you can sign up to the email list and be first to know when the book is ready.
So exciting. Thank you so much, Sarah. Is there anything else you want to add before we carry on?
No, just that I've really enjoyed the MicroBook Magic course, and it's been the thing that got me started to write this book that, you know, has been circling around for a couple of years, I'd say. Just not quite sure how to get it out, but now I found the way. So thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity.
Oh no, thank you. I'm so glad it's helped, because creating MicroBook Magic has been one of the biggest pleasures of my life. I really enjoyed. I know that sounds cheesy, but true. And so I'm so glad that people have loved it as well, especially with the changes that I've made. So I've run it 3 times now, and this time I've put a lot more stuff in, a lot more helpful. It's not just stuff, a lot more stuff. I put a lot more stuff in, and I'm glad it's been helpful. So
No, it's been great.
Amazing. Thank you, Sarah. Can't wait to read your book. I'm going to remove the spotlight, and I am going to invite Dr. Nupi Arora onto the stage.
Mute. Am I unmuted? Yes, I am. Hi. I'm literally just still kind of waking up. Sorry, everybody, for being so late. And thank you, Vicky. I've loved this. I just feel, I think because new clinics have just started and it's just been back to back. I've kind of been doing twilight hours and night shifts, and I love it, which is the good thing, because at the beginning I was very, I'm not sure if I want to do this anymore, but I'm in my zone, and this is still here, and I am being very super kind to myself, because I've not really shifted further since I sent you all my stuff, but I also know it's right there. And when things settle down a bit, when I'm able to, you know, I've scheduled in, and I had to go crazy for a few weeks, but I have scheduled in time where I've just put book for a couple of hours here, there, regularly, and so I know I can pick it back up again. I know I will.
I know you will. I mean, apart from anything else, I'm going to keep like poking at you until you've done it. So
yes, please do. Please do.
I don't want anyone to think that just because the MicroBook Magic is officially over that you're going to hear the last of me. Absolutely not. I am going to be super annoying. So
I didn't even recognize it was officially over, and I'm like gutted. I'm like, what just happened to the last 2 sessions of my whole life on this? And I'm like, okay, listen, priorities with the clinics. This is what I needed to do. And I'm so glad you said that, because I will need poking. Anyway, I'm just going to keep bombarding you. I'll be like, hi.
That is cool. And I also should say as well, so you said that you have not really moved forward since the last pages that you sent me. You did so much work, and I was so surprised. I was so surprised when you sent me, because from what you'd been saying, I wasn't expecting it to be that together. I was not expecting there to be that much development of the ideas, and there was. So you actually, I think you've done a lot more than you think you've done. So yay,
yes.
Well done.
Yes, thank you.
Speaking of, would you like to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do and why you're writing this book?
Yes, I'd love to. And I've got a little bit I can read out as well.
Yay, I knew you would.
It's when you said, you've got shed loads, you can probably just read out something you've already done. And I was like, yes, because I just need to bring it all together, essentially. So anyway, I'm Dr. Nupi. I'm also known as the glitter practitioner. I'm a GP, I'm a family physician, and my whole career, which spans 25 years in the NHS, essentially, I love people. And that sounds really corny, cheesy. It is why I came into my profession, to make a difference and to truly help other people understand their health better. And that's what I do. I empower others to really understand their needs and put it into the context of their presenting issue in their backstory, in their life. And you really, truly I love what I do. And that's why I want to share my story, aspects of my story that totally transformed my life and has gone on to transform the way, well, it's always the way I've practiced, a very holistic approach, but it's looking at the whole person. And I want to share what I've shared with patients for the last 10, 11 years to more people. I want to bring this message out to as many people as possible. And that's behind everything I do. It's me, it's my book, it's my podcasts, it's my interviews, it's my shows, it is literally everything, which is why it's me. And that's why I know I've been working on this for a good few years. And I think coming onto LinkedIn, it was my 1 year anniversary just recently, has really crystallized everything. And it's just coming together, and it's just beautiful. I love it.
Amazing. Okay. Well, I don't know who else wants Dr. Nupi to be their GP now, but I do. So
I forgot to tell you why I did this book. Oh, I know I have answered that actually. No,
yeah,
Yeah.
I think you have, and you can add onto the end as well after you've read your extract. But I would really love to hear what you have come to share with us.
Okay. So this is called Permission Slip, and I actually think this is going to be my introduction, to be honest, and in a work in progress, but I'll read it out anyway. I'm going to be looking down, so it's just here on my iPad. Okay. Although burnout was over a decade ago, I can instantly recall the utter exhaustion, persistent frazzle, and feeling like everything around me, myself included, was fading before my eyes. From vibrant, full of energy colours to a grainy, barely there, black and white. Depleted, disconnected, and done in. My body had been trying to tell me for ages what my mind kept trying to push through. The overwhelming fatigue, despite a good night's sleep, something that was happening less so anyway, the disconnection. And having gone through burnout 12 years ago, a horrible, painful experience that I know will never be repeated because of the knowledge, insights, and skills gained as a result. For all its caustic pain, burnout was also my blessing. I had no choice but to stop and acknowledge I was a million miles away from the land of okay. Recognizing my own health needs, the whole person perspective, mind, body, and soul in alignment as the foundation of health and well-being, and learning through the process of recovery, time, and trust how to value and take ownership of my needs with the same unconditional care, compassion, and attention as that given to my patients and others. That is what transformed my life. For anybody reading and resonating with this, ask yourself, how are you truly? Notice what comes up. Is it a hell yeah, I'm all singing, dancing, bells on okay? Or is it a okay, I guess? Kind of okay. Please know you deserve and are worth more than okay, I guess. You are more than plenty good enough, and it's more than okay not to be. Stop. Acknowledge how you truly feel. Accept. It's okay. You don't need to go through this on your own. Allow yourself to reach out. Put your needs first. And in fact, this book is your permission slip to do so.
Love that. Love it. And I can't wait to read the rest of it because yeah, as Addie's just said, that's really amazing, Dr. Nupi. It is. I think that a lot of people are gonna really find this book incredibly valuable because I think a lot of, especially business owners, have been there. You know, they've been in burnout. Everything that you were just reading out, I was just like, yeah, I know how that feels because I have felt it. And so I'm really excited. Oh, Addie says she thinks the book should be called Permission Slip. Wow, maybe.
Oh. I've
hope.
always had BU with bells on.
Well, I mean, it could be BU with bells on and then permission slip in the subtitle.
Permission slip, yes. This is your permission slip or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, I was tingling when I was reading. Oops. I was tingling when I was reading that out. Literally. Ding, 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 ding.
Good. I'm so glad because it's going to be such a fab book. It's going to be so valuable. It's going to be so useful. And I think as well, it's coming at exactly the right time as well, because people, I know that like the, you know, health professionals everywhere are starting to realize that we're not a body and a mind. We're like, they're all in the same place. So I think it's coming at exactly the right time in terms of people being interested in it as well.
Yes.
I think it's very cool.
Yes. And do you know what? That's the first time apart from you reading what I've written, that's the first time I've ever read out my words, my writing,
Ooh,
ever.
so interesting. Well,
Yeah.
well done.
Thanks. Wow, I'm so glad I did that.
I love it.
Thank you.
And I think it's really clear why you're writing the book as well, because you know with so many of us have been there, and I think just more and more of us are going to be there because capitalism, blah. And so thank you for writing it. I'm going to put you on the spot as well. When do you think you would like to have the book ready?
Well, I would like my holistic prescription, which is what I call it. Realistically, I'm aiming for June, July, and I'm thinking realistic, my birthday, August.
What a fabulous birthday present to publish your book
Yes,
and have it in your
yes, that's what just suddenly came to me.
Amazing. Okay, well, I'm going to get that exact date from you in a bit. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. We've got some people saying that's really amazing, Dr. Nupi. Yes. Sarah Riverton, I love that. I need this book. Yes. And I think it's really cool. Permission Slip. Sarah says we all need this book. Jackie says love that extract. Thanks for sharing. Ade says that line, "This is your permission slip," is super. It really is. It reminds me of the note you get from your GP when you're unwell. Yeah. And Sarah S says birthday and launch party. Love it. Love a birthday party, love a launch party. Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Nupi. Where can people find out more about you? In the meantime, where can we connect with you?
At LinkedIn. I'm all over LinkedIn. Less so now because I'm working more, but you can always find me as the glitter practitioner on LinkedIn. It's very easy to remember because I'm obsessed with glitter, and that's what I'm doing, spreading glitter. It's love,
Amazing.
essentially.
Okay,
yeah,
so now I
LinkedIn.
Perfect, and I'll get you to pop the link in the chat box as well in a moment. But I have to ask you, why are you the glitter practitioner? Please tell us that.
Yes, I'd love to. So 3 reasons. I am genuinely obsessed. Probably can't see it much because I literally woke up. Obsessed with glittery eye makeup. This is my signature thing I've done forever. And patients who had never met me before and maybe couldn't remember my name would go back to reception and saying, "Can I see that doctor with the glittery eyes?" kind of thing. The little ones, the children, would come in and give little paintings to their mummies to go in, "Can you give that to Dr. Princess Aurora?" And it'd be like, because that's what I used to say, "I am your Dr. Princess Aurora," and pictures with splodges of glitter all over it. But the real reason is when I'm doing my thing and showing and sharing how to realign your needs, and just even with some breath work, I know what's wrong when somebody comes in. I can feel it, I can see it in their eyes, and just a few breaths, when that person opens their eyes and I see that light coming back and shimmering, that's the real glitter. And it just never fails to completely spark me up. And the last reason is because patients would always say, specifically, "Dr. Aurora, it's like you sprinkle your words with this magic glitter, and everybody needs some glitter in their lives." And that was a backstory of somebody who had had a horrific childhood, a proper gangster dude, and he was at complete rock bottom. And it wasn't long we worked together. It was through the pandemic on the phone, and over the year we're doing the F list, literally, and that's all he could do because there was no other services. And he, for the first time in his whole life, had actually engaged and taken his meds and used what I was sharing. And he called me specifically. It was the last review, and he had wanted to tell me he'd been picked for some volunteering work, which was leading to apprenticeship. First time, super proud of him, chatting. And he said, "Doc, I've seen a lot of GPs in my time, this, that, the other." And he said, "I've never met anybody the way you say things. It's like you sprinkle glitter with your words, and everybody needs glitter in their lives." And for him to say that, who he was just moved me to tears, basically. And that's why I became the glitter practitioner.
I love all of those reasons, and I hope that some of that is going to go into your book.
It is.
Good.
It is definitely.
Oh my gosh, well done. Congratulations, Dr. Nupi. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for coming and joining us and sharing that extract. I know that
Thank
everyone's
you.
going to want to read it. So yeah, if you can pop your link in the chat box, that's perfect. Thank you. And I am going to just have a look at who else we have, because I think Vicky's just arrived. Hey, how you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
I am also good, thank you. Are you ready now, or would you like me to play Eileen's video first to give you a second?
No, I can go now.
Amazing.
I think I got the time wrong, but so I'm sorry that I missed everyone else, but I'm here now.
You are here now, and I will be putting this out into the world, so you'll get to watch it back again.
Excellent.
So, yay. Thank you so much for joining us. So Vicky is another Vicky, which always throws me off, but it's always nice to meet another Vicky. Please tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why you're writing your microbook.
Yeah, so I'm Vicky. I'm in Calgary, Canada. What I do is I help people preserve the memories of their family members. So usually their grandparents or their parents. So I will interview them, and then I will transform their memories into a narrative for them and their families, basically family legacy ghostwriting. And I wrote this microbook because a lot of people feel a lot of shame about not wanting to, or not knowing why they haven't had deep conversations with their family members before. And so this is just kind of addressing that. And I guess, spoiler alert, it's normal. So that's why I've written this book.
I'm really excited about this book because I know I've said this to you before, but I know that shame. Like I find it really difficult to talk to my family. I think family relationships are so different, so interesting. And so I am really excited that you're writing this book, because I need it, basically. And I also think it's another, all of these books are incredibly valuable, and this one no less so, because we forget the stories, the family stories that are out there, and they are amazing. A lot of them are. So thank you for writing it. And with that, are you ready to read a short extract?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm going to read my introduction, which should be about 5 minutes.
Perfect. Please go ahead.
Awesome. Okay, I will get started. What I know about my maternal grandmother could fit comfortably into a small, bedazzled handbag. She was about 4'11" and weighed maybe as much as 98 pounds, if someone had given her a pair of dumbbells to hold first. Her skin was always cold, even in a heat-soaked July, and if I kissed her cheek, I got the impression that my lips had left no mark there, physical or otherwise. She lived a 2-hour plane ride away from me, so my mother and I would dutifully make the trek to visit her once a year. I recall that my favorite part of the yearly trips was not due to any sort of matrilineal bonding, but largely that I got to stay in a hotel with a pool and eat bacon every morning for a week. After the bacon, my mother and I would make the daily walk across the highway to my grandmother's apartment, lugging along any practical supplies that she requested of us, such as new underwear, hose, or brassieres. We'd knock once, then twice, and eventually the cigarette-blackened doors would open. "Hello, my dears," my grandmother would say with a smile that looked as though she'd decided to try it on for the day, in much the same way she was always trying on new brown wigs to wear over the thin wisps of white hair she still had left. I'd carefully envelop her frame within my arms for a brief hug, and then settle down on the couch for a long day of reading, or maybe playing The Sims on my chunky brick of a laptop. My grandmother would ask me a few carefully composed questions about my grades or favorite books, and I'd answer as best as I could before returning to the distractions I'd brought with me. It never occurred to me to ask her anything that might have been going on in her own life. My mother did ask questions of her, but no matter the topic, the answers my grandmother provided were usually the same. Her knees ached. She didn't see her friends anymore. She missed reading, but she could no longer see the page. The city council was wasting her money. The hired help that came once a week to drop off pre-made meals might be stealing things. And finally, my mother was ungrateful and did not visit nearly enough. The theme was life had been unfair to her, and things weren't improving much. She wasn't wrong, but her inability to see a silver lining on anything at all felt very much at odds with the happy life I lived with my parents. Dissecting the nuances of her view, or even acknowledging her sadness as real, wasn't a complexity I was willing to deal with as a child. Most of what I was doing was biding time before the person I really wanted to see was going to show up, my great aunt. As a widower and a woman who'd been unable to conceive a child in spite of a lifelong dream for one, my great aunt had as much in life to be resentful of as my grandmother. The lens she viewed the world through was one of sunshine instead of storm clouds. When she showed up, I knew we'd get our first genuine laughs of the day. "Why is your little Ken doll eating his dinner standing up?" she asked me once after observing me playing my Sims game. "I couldn't afford to buy him any furniture," I said. "Oh no," she said. "Is he doomed to stay that way forever? What kind of life will this virtual man lead if he never knows the comforts of a chair or a bed? It's probably something like this that leads to the robots gaining intelligence and leaving us for dead." She would go on in increasingly ridiculous detail about the vengeance our robot overlords would enact on us by taking away all of our chairs until I fell off my seat, awash in giggles. I loved her for making me laugh, and at the time, it felt like we were close. But my great aunt had lived an entire life for 70 years before I was even born. And in terms of knowing what those details were, I knew her about as well as my grandmother, which is to say, not at all. Both of them died in their 90s when I was 21, and the possessions they left behind were few. My great aunt had almost nothing other than pictures of my mother and I, which reinforced the love she had for us, but left no insight into the paths her life had taken. My grandmother, on the other hand, had left me one large surprise: hundreds of love letters written to her from her late husband. This was a man that had died almost a decade before my conception, and whom my grandmother married in her early 40s, after having already given birth to my mother years earlier, from a different man who'd already married her, who'd never married her. Included amongst the love letters was her wedding photo. In the photo, she wore a long, elegant dress that cinched at the waist and a single flower in her hair. She also had one more accessory that I'd never seen her wear before: a true, genuine smile. My entire life, my grandmother had only mentioned her deceased husband once to me. I'd told her that my boyfriend's name was Michael, and she'd paused and said, "That's a good name," without revealing that her late husband's name had also been Michael. My dad filled in some of the details for me about the time my grandmother was widowed. He told me that my step-grandfather died of a sudden heart attack, and my grandmother went into a state of catatonic shock. My mother, in university at the time, had to figure out all the practical details herself: who would carry out the funeral, how all the bills would be paid, and who would clean up her stepfather's bodily fluids off the kitchen floor. The letters, the photo, and my dad's remarks paint the broad outlines of a tragic love story, whose details I can never recover. I want to read my grandmother's story in a book, or watch the dramatic details unfold on a Netflix special, but I never can. I know that I'm not alone in this kind of feeling. In this year alone, I've talked to dozens of women and men who regret not uncovering their parents' or grandparents' stories while they were still alive to tell them. That's why I've written this microbook. I'm going to help you uncover the reasons why you haven't already had these conversations with your family members, and then I'll give you practical steps on how to start a dialogue and preserve those memories for future generations. Let's get started.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. I was just watching everybody's faces as you were reading as well, and I think this book is going to be really special. I think people are going to love it. I think it's going to speak to a lot of people. Yeah, everybody's like, "Wow, that's awesome! I want the book now. Oh my, that's so cool! I love it. I love that story, and I love the why behind the book." Same.
Thank you so much.
That's a great niche, Victoria. Meets a need because many people shy away from asking about heritage stories. They do. Ade says, "Hearing what you do is such an inspiring thing to do." Oh my goodness, yeah, it's very cool. It is transfixed tears. Well done. I can't wait. Yeah, Sarah, you had me transfixed. It is. It's gonna be beautiful. Can't wait to read it. So I'm going to put you on the same spot I've put other people on as well, and ask, when do you think we'll be able to read it?
Yes. I'm hoping by about June or so, everyone will be able to read it. So soon, May or June, soon.
Perfect. I'm going to hold you to June.
Yes, good idea.
I was just saying earlier, Ade had said, "I didn't realize I'd signed up to be poked by Vicky." Yep, you did. I'm not gonna just because it's officially over doesn't mean that you've heard the last of me. I need all these books in my grubby little hands, so I'm going to be keeping on with people. Lots more comments coming in. Hooray, Vicky. Dr. Nupi says, "Woohoo." Sarah Rib says, "I love it. I expect moist eyes reading it." Yeah, I got moist eyes reading it. Ade says, "I just lost my stepmom recently and I absolutely wish I'd asked her more questions, especially as I lost my birth mom so young." Yeah. So yeah, I think people are gonna, it's important, man. It's important.
Yeah. I think so too. I hope it helps as many people as possible.
Yeah, and I think it will, and I will be sharing everyone's books far and wide, because I know that they're going to change people's worlds. They are, like all of the books that are being written in this course, and all of the books that are being written are going to change people's worlds for the better. So so make sure you finish them. Pointy fingers.
Yes.
Okay, where can people find out? I know you haven't got like probably a landing page for the book or anything yet, but where can people find out more about you and connect with you online?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a website. The URL is thisisusquestionsunasked.com. And then I also, I'm on Instagram. I've been a little bit silent there, but I always check my DMs at Questions Unasked on Instagram. So you can check me out either place.
Lovely. If you could put those links in the chat box for people, that would be amazing.
Oh, yes, of course.
Because then I can grab all of these. So if anyone hasn't already put their links in the chat box, please do so, because I will grab them all and make sure that when I share this far and wide, I can tag everybody and send people, because I want you lot to sell as many books as possible. So help me to help you. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Vicky. If anyone has any questions for anyone, for Vicky or anyone, then please pop them into the chat box. I'm going to remove your spotlight. That was amazing. Thank you. And we just have, so we have one more from Ailene, who is not here because she is in Australia and it is entirely the middle of the night there. So, but she has sent me a video. Before we go on to that, I also wanted to do a shout out for Anais and Mai, who are writing a book together, which is also going to be incredible. I'm very excited about this one as well. They are writing a book about women in leadership and how we can bring more women into leadership, and really how we can or how their book is aimed at men in leadership, how they can empower women to become leaders, and how they can, how they can stop seeing themselves as, as being kind of poked at and prodded at, and start seeing themselves as, actually, I can be a hero here. I can help change the world for the better, because everybody's better when women are in more leadership. So that's the book that they're writing. I'm really excited about that book as well. It's going to be a very positive book, and I think it's going to be incredibly valuable. So I will obviously be sharing their handles and things around as well when I pop this out into the world. But for now, I am going to share Ailene's video that she has sent to me. Just going to say, it contains goats, which I love, because if anyone doesn't know, I have 3 tiny sheep, miniature sheep, who I'm looking at right now. They're behaving themselves, and so I love the fact that Ailene's put goats in her video. That makes me very happy. I'm just going to hit go, and I'm going to let her tell her story. Let me know if you cannot hear. I have shared the sound, so hopefully this will work.
Hello, my name's Ailene. I have had so much fun writing the first microbook that I am now writing book number 2. I write fantasy-ish, memoir-ish, which Vicky came up with, and I am loving that genre. I'm totally going to own it. This microbook is about finding your own magic, which goes some way to explain why I am in the rain in the middle of the goat paddock, because this is one of my magic spots. Here we go. The music started beside the crackling bonfire, the liquid notes of a deep-bellied instrument that looked not unlike a lute. "Come and dance," the strings said. This is not my world. I'd feel much more at home among the waltzes and country dances of a West Quarter cotillion, or the sprightly jitterbugs and jives of the dance halls, or even the hip-shaking mumbos that flirt the night away. So what am I doing here, you ask? I've been wondering that as well. I'm a stranger, although the families have been more than welcoming. I'm a beginner, although they assure me it doesn't matter. But oh, I had forgotten the swallow me up now feeling when you find yourself at the front of a group struggling to keep up with movements that everyone else does effortlessly, while your body is returning 404 not founds. And worst of all, I was struggling to find the reason I love to dance in the first place. The magic. Until this evening, which of course is the reason I write. "Come and dance," the strings invited. So I did. Joining the colourful throng of long dresses, stripes, hip scarves and bare feet, I mimicked how everyone around me danced, small movements on the spot, swaying to the long notes, shimmying to the trembling ones. I was terribly aware of long arms and long legs. Turns out I'm tall no matter where I go in the world. I wish I'd chosen a duller dress, something that would blend nicely into the shadows, for instance. And I was sure everyone could tell I needed to practice making my arms more fluid and my shimmies more loose. Then the melody said something so out of the blue, it made me freeze like a proverbial rabbit in headlights. Dance is your story. What did it want from me? This was music with roots in the dawn of time, had seen empires bloom and wither, been played by more instruments than I could imagine, and travelled more worlds than I could name. What story of mine could it possibly be interested in? The strings nudged me. Dance is something true, they whispered. I was used to music that pushed at me and told me how to move and what to feel. This music, on the other hand, was pulling at me, drawing me out, asking me to see myself. So, who was this woman in the bright red dress, dancing barefoot in the firelight under the stars? Software developer, artist, gardener, unicorn herder, dragon rider, daughter, sister, cousin, aunt, friend, divorcee, lover, other? Beside me, my new friend rolled sensuous hips. I don't know how she made it look so utterly earthy, and winked at her husband on the other side of the fire. Another woman caught my eye. Eyes closed, hand curved under rounded belly, she laced delight into every sinuous movement, along with a certain amount of trepidation. A trio of youngsters scampered into the firelight, leaping and giggling. What stories were they all telling? I didn't know what to say because, frankly, all I was in that moment was embarrassment and frustration. Of course, that's what the music latched onto. Ooh, it said, tell us about that. And that's all I've got time for. It's starting to rain, so thanks for listening and bye from us.
Oi! Please don't eat all the things. Thank you. No.
Okay, well, I think that's just about the most perfect book promo video I've ever seen in my entire life. So I hope you all enjoyed that. And this is a super example of this is what I mentioned at the beginning, genre blending. So that is a true story, but it's a fictionalized true story. Because I did ask Ailene if this was based on something that she'd done, and it is based on something that she'd done, but obviously the turning the lute into an instrument, or not a lute, the not a lute into an instrument. She's superb at genre blending, and I love that. It's fantasy-ish, memoir-ish, and it's brilliant. And I know that she's writing this book because she wants to help other people to find their magic as well. The magic that we lose when we start growing up, when we get beaten out of us when we're at school and we have to think about serious things and serious life. And so I love that she's writing a magical book about magic in the real world and whatever you want magic to mean. So I'm going to obviously be sharing her social media handles and things. I'm really excited about reading this book. Her first book was so fab as well. So she was part of the very first round of MicroBook Magic, which is amazing. And she came back again, which is fab. And yeah, so we've got a few comments here. Christine says, loved it. Yeah, me too. Sarah M says, I love it, can't wait to read it. Vicky says, love it. Dr. Nupi says, love that. Sarah S says, amazing, love Aileen's writing and read in such a beautiful New Zealand accent too. Yeah, and doesn't New Zealand look so much like the UK? It looks so much like the UK. It's so green and rainy. Christina says, I have to get my hands on her book. Yeah, Ade says, loving the goats. Me too. Goats are hilarious. Awesome. Okay, so one of the things that I have loved so much about running MicroBook Magic is, before we go, Kim says I have to run off, but it's been great being part of this experience with all of you, and I will look forward to reading your books soon. Good luck. Thank you, Kim, and to you, and we will see you soon. So one of the things I have loved so much about running MicroBook Magic each time has been the range of books and topics and stories that are being told. Like, they're all so wildly different. They're so different and so incredibly valuable and so exciting, and I can't wait for them to be out in the world and for people to be reading them and enjoying them and loving them as much as I know they will. And so yeah, I haven't really gotten it. Well, I have got something to add. I'm running MicroBook Magic again in September. I'm having a break over the summer. because I've run it 3 times in a row and I've realized that that's quite tiring. So I'm having the summer off. I'm running it again in September. So if anyone is watching this and would like to join us in September, I would love to have you. You can drop me an email, vicky@moxiebooks.co.uk, or find me on social media. I assume everybody that's here that isn't in MicroBook Magic found me on socials somewhere. Or via somebody else, so they can get some details from me. Sarah, I'm definitely interested. Yay! So pleased. So yeah, running it again in September. It'll be for basically whatever the first Tuesday in September, that'll be the first call, and there'll be a week of onboarding. I've put a load of really cool stuff together in software called Circle. So there's lots of templates, there's lots of videos, there's lots of help from me, lots of cheerleading and annoying nudging from me as well, like, how are you getting on? And I would love to help usher some more microbooks, because microbooks are so powerful. It's like, a book doesn't have to be a massive giant thing. It can be a tiny powerful, mighty microbook that just can be a single idea that shifts somebody's worldview, that shifts somebody's idea of, you know, what the world should be like. That's incredibly powerful. You know, it doesn't have to be really big, it doesn't have to be really long, and I think we've all read books that could have been short, right? I know I have. So yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm great at nudging. Thank you, Vicky. Dr. Nupi says I've got about 3 more books to do. Yay! I have had a couple of people come back. Like Sarah, this is Sarah Milne's second MicroBook Magic round as well. So that's really, really exciting. And I know that I've got a couple of people signed up already. So yeah, if anyone listening would like to write a microbook, would love to have you join us in September. I will be not shutting up about it for most of July and August, so you won't be able to miss it. But if you would like to sign up and you want to drop me an email in the next week or so, I will give you a special deal for signing up early and dropping a deposit. So let me know if you would like to do that. Vicky@moxiebooks.co.uk. I might even have a proper landing page by that time. You never know. At the moment, it's a Google Doc, but that seems to have served me well. So. And with that's nothing to do with anything, but if anybody ever thinks that they can't launch something because they haven't got a website, you don't need a website, you just need a Google Doc and an email list. That's all you need. All you need. Don't listen to people who tell you that you need thousands of pounds worth of website. You do not. You need a Google Doc and a link to it. So you are welcome, Dr. Nupi. And if anyone wants to ask me about how I launched this, by the way, and how I did it first time around, give me a shout, because I will absolutely walk you through it, because I'm just a big fan of getting stuff out there. If you can, like, if you've got something amazing to share with people, get it out there and share it, whether it's in book form or whatever. And if it's in book form, I would love to help you. Without further ado, I'm terrible at saying goodbye and ending things. Everybody who is on this call who knows me knows this. So I'm just going to sit here and look awkward until everybody leaves. I'm not really. Thank you so much to all of my MicroBook Magic authors. You're all absolutely incredible. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited about the books that you're writing. I hope you're excited as well. And if you're just scared, remember that scared and excited are exactly the same physical feeling in your body. It's just that you get to decide what to interpret it as. So remember that. Remember me in your head every time you're like, I'm too scared to do this. It's like, you're excited. And if you are a little bit scared, that's also cool, because, you know, that means you care. Thank you. You're all amazing. I love you all. Big love. Goodbye. Oh, thank you, Christine. They are amazing.